Okay. Hi, Travis. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a while.
Yeah, like a month.
Yeah, I know. Um, so how are you?
I'm doing okay. School's going pretty well for the most part. Um, yeah, everything else is okay
Okay. So what would you like to set for our agenda today? What would you like to talk about?
though. Well, there's a lot of money problems that have been going on. The thing I think I talked to you about it last time, the whole rent situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the day before we were gonna pay it, they sent it to collections already,
Mm.
and then like a week and a half ago, my computer got dropped by a certain toddler that I know. And so I was out of a computer um, for a few days. Luckily, my in laws were able to help us out, and we were able to borrow money from them to get a new computer. But it sucks that I have to now pay that on top of the other money that I owe, and then um, it just sucks all together. But it's really so when it happened, there was also some stress about doing the homework while it was gone. So I was like 5 days behind on all my homework, but got it all done.
So it sounds like you've had quite a bit going on.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Halloween was really fun.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, she loved it. She took her like two houses to figure everything out, and then she was just running from door to door. She's so awesome.
Yeah. What was she for Halloween?
She's a little ballerina.
Oh, cute.
It was the best thing I've ever seen. And then the trunk or treat, she just kept wanting to go around and around and around, get more candy. She got so mad when I would dump the candy out to make it so she could put more in her bucket because she thought it was gone forever. She's the best though.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're able to enjoy that with her.
Yeah. Me too.
So we've got several things that you mentioned. Is there one in particular that seems to be bothering you more than the others?
Um. Yeah. The situation with the rent stuff. It's really stressful to think about now that that's going to be on my credit score because they couldn't wait like another day
Mm-hmm.
because I don't get paid until the first, and they put it in on the 31st.
Mm.
So now that just $200 is there.
Yeah, yeah. And I know before you had talked about how the landlord maybe had her own agenda, I guess, to push.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it just seems like the whole situation is just. It felt like everything in that situation was against us.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So yeah, and now we owe $200 because of other people.
Mm-hmm. So knowing that impacts your credit score, it was just a day away from, you guys taking care of that. What kind of feelings does that bring up for you?
Like anger, like how ridiculous, like are they, like how petty are they? Like they can't. Like we told them that we weren't going to pay them. We couldn't pay them until the first
Mm-hmm.
because of like paychecks, and they still put it in. Like just seems so ridiculous that like they want that $200 so badly that like they have to make it harder for us to do things in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Just not a good situation.
No, no. So besides the anger, is anything else coming up for you?
Yeah, like anxiety about the credit score being low in the future. Like if it's going to affect being able to get, because we were planning on getting a car and a house. The car or the house soon after graduation, but um, now we don't know because we don't know what kind of impact it's going to make.
Mm-hmm.
And and if we were able to get a new car or not, because we have a tiny little car for our family, nothing fits in there. We have to
Yeah.
move.
So you have some needs and wants that you were looking forward to.
Yeah, and then also it's going to be on a record if we try to rent an apartment. Like they're going to see that
Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely not helping your situation at all.
now. No.
Hmm. So you're angry that they sent it to collections. Just all they had to do was wait one day. And even you told them about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so in addition to this anger, you're feeling a lot of anxiety because of the future, buying a home, getting a car, even if you would rent an apartment. Now you have, this ding on your credit score that's going to throw everything off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how is this impacting you overall then?
I don't really think about it unless like I just think about paying rent. Like something comes up and I just think, oh man, like what are we gonna do? Or thinking about graduation, like that kind of makes me think about it because filling out all the forms for graduation, doing practicum stuff makes me think about it. So it's not really impeding it, but it's just really stressful that I don't want that kind of stress in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still able to get this stuff done. It's just I just feel unpleasant.
Right. It's supposed to be a stressful, but yeah, kind of a part in the process that should be exciting because
Yeah, absolutely.
you're towards the end and finally getting through things and now the light at the end of the tunnel isn't so bright anymore.
No, it's gone a little dimmer. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have these feelings of anger and anxiety, and I think you touched on it a little bit about seeing in your future, but what kind of images come up for you?
Having to live in like another crappy apartment,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like just being stuck in a place where they're limited by our score, so um, like being taken advantage of by another landlord because we're gonna have to like maybe if we can't find anywhere that's good enough, we have to go to somewhere that's bad. Living in this bad environment, seeing all these bad places,
Mm-hmm.
seeing my daughter living in these bad places.
Yeah. And so with these images that come up for you, um, is there any other feelings that come up other than the anger and the anxiety when you're thinking about, being in a crappy apartment and being stuck and maybe being taken advantage of again and then your daughter having to live in circumstances that you don't want for her?
Yeah, so being sad about it. Just kind of sad and hurt and that she doesn't have the opportunity to live somewhere nice.
Mm-hmm. so you have the feelings. We've got anger, anxiety, sad, and hurt. So what kind of thoughts are you having when you have those feelings? What kind of thoughts come into your brain?
Lots of like weird bugs. The thoughts that maybe I'm not good enough. This was a bad decision again to move out this early. I can think of right now.
Yeah. So when you think of that feeling of, or the thought of not being good enough, or that you've made another bad decision, were there times before that you've made that you feel you've made bad decisions? Because I heard you say another bad decision.
Oh, I was just continuing to think that this was a bad decision to move out. It makes the decision worse. Like, to move out this early just makes it even worse than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
At first, we knew we had to pay that extra $1,500. It's something we were willing to do. And then they were going to come back and give us our deposit back still, but then they told us that we owed them that extra money because we moved out too early. And then, so that's when I thought it was a bad decision. And then when they took that opportunity to just put the thing in a day earlier than what we thought that we were going to be able to pay, that just made me think it was a really bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better just to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Has anything good happened since you've moved?
Yes. I get to spend spending a lot of time with Nora. She gets to see her grandparents every day, so that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
My dog, there's 2 other dogs here, so my dog is tired all the time from playing, so it's not hard to take care of her.
Yeah.
And then Halloween, getting to see her Halloween. Go to the church trunk or treat, because for whatever reason the congregation that we went to up there didn't have Halloween celebrations. Even though it's the same church, for whatever reason, it's the only place I've ever been to where they don't do it. But she got to do that here, and she loved that. Also, my wife's stepbrother, he was here for about a month before he left for Japan, so we got to see him more than we would have if we were living an hour and a half away.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess all those things that was all worth the money. If I really think about it, it's just, I would be willing to still pay that extra $200. It's the fact that now it's on the credit score.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to cost even more due to maybe higher interest rates or having to find somewhere, having to pay more for rent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what is in the future because of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that you were able to identify some positives out of that, because it isn't an ideal situation, but to hear that you've got a lot of family support, and that Nora was able to experience something that she wasn't able to experience before, and that she had a ball with it. That's great. But it doesn't make it go away that now you have something that's going to follow you forever,
Right.
essentially, and trying to move forward with that. So the problem would be that obviously you've got this nick on your credit score that's going to impede you from having the future that you really wanted. So when you look at the future now, and you say you have a lot of fear and anxiety about the future.
Yeah, like just if I'm going to be able to live and provide what Nora needs
Mm-hmm.
because of this $200. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it feels like it was just the icing on, or I guess the icing on top of the poop. So
Yeah.
it
Don't go ahead.
it just sucks
Mm-hmm.
that it feels like this $200 is going to follow me for at least 7 years or however long it stays on a credit score.
Yeah. Do you know anybody that had a similar experience?
A bunch of clients that I had in St. Joe. Everybody, there's bad landlords in St. Joe.
Yeah.
I can't really get advice from them.
That's true. But do you have anybody that you could reach out to for advice on what to do, or next steps, or?
Yeah. Like if we really needed it, I know my wife's parents would probably pay it and let us pay them back again, but I don't want to owe them any more money now that we have the computer on top of it and we're living here.
Yeah.
There's when he has his own properties that he owns, so I don't know if they know anything about it or how to get around it or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you so you've never known anyone else that have been besides your former clients, but you've never known anyone personally that's experienced this?
No, I haven't. I guess I might know them. I just don't go around asking people if they have bad rental history.
Well, yeah, it's not something that people openly discuss or put out there. That's for sure.
So there's no one that I know of that I know.
Okay. So if you knew somebody who was in your situation, what do you think that you would tell them, or have any suggestions or advice to give them about maybe where they could start or what they could look into?
I would say maybe talk to the creditor or whatever it is. What is it? What are they called? The debt collector, whatever that person's called. See if they can get it lowered, so then maybe you end up paying less for that. And then talk about maybe researching how long it will be on the record and what kind of problems it would cause. And seeing if it really does affect being able to get a rent place if it's off if you paid it. And seeing how it might affect a house loan. Just kind of doing the research just to be proactive and know what you're facing instead of just thinking about all these what ifs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about a what if. So what if it's not going to change? What if it's going to stay on there and it's going to impact all of these other things? So what's the worst case scenario that could happen?
We could end up living in a place like that, and there could be bugs everywhere. They don't fix any problems. Maybe we have to live in a bad neighborhood where I don't want my daughter to play outside so she doesn't get any air and she gets sick more.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has to be inside with those nasty bugs. I know it seems ridiculous, but that's
No, I mean, I think that that's a valid worry.
Yeah. If it was just me and my wife, it wouldn't be as bad. But now that we have a toddler, like I would want her to be in a better situation.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, and you wanting to take care of that, you definitely want to provide for her and keep her safe and make sure that she's getting all of her needs met.
Yeah.
And if you weren't able to do that, just by some of our conversations that we've had before, if you could kind of remember those, I mean, how do you think that would impact you?
Probably be depressed, angry with myself. Thinking that I'm not a good enough dad.
Has anything ever happened that would make you feel that you're not a good enough dad? Do you have any evidence of that?
No, because I try to not be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just so I just use that to just try to be a good dad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last week I asked her on a date and then I forgot about it. I'm sure she forgot too, but I felt bad when I remembered that I asked her on a date. But that's the only thing. But then we ended up going the next day to just get a free meal for Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
We got to enjoy that together. So, I mean, that's the only thing that I can really think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what makes the thought of being not a good enough dad? Give me examples of why you are a good enough dad.
I wake up every morning. Make sure she has her juice and milk. Pull her out, get her breakfast. We say prayers every night together. She knows my name. She knows how to say I thank you. I teach her how to make noises and teach her different animal things. She's happy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like that would be an indication if she was sadder. I can't. It's hard to think through the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Even though they've been really fast.
Yeah, they do go by fast. You always hear people say that, and then when you experience it, it's, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the fastest anything's ever gone by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So when you have that feeling of not being a good enough dad, when you have that thought, and so your feelings related to that are depressed and angry.
Yeah.
Okay. So how often do you feel that feeling? So how often do you have the thought of worrying about being a good enough dad?
Pretty sporadically.
Okay.
I wouldn't say there's some weeks it's a couple times a week, and then sometimes it's only once a month, and then some days it's like all day long. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty sporadic.
Okay. So when you do have that thought, even though it's very sporadic, and those feelings come up for you, how intense are those feelings on a scale of, 0 to 10, 10 being at the top of that?
Probably like a 7 or 8.
Okay. So when you're that high on the scale, do you have any is anything physically going on with you?
Yeah, I can feel I feel my heart so when I'm angry about it, I feels like my heart's gonna explode. My skin gets hot. Yeah.
Do you feel tense or agitated?
Yeah. I would say yes.
Okay. So when you're up there high on the scale, what kind of things can bring you back down?
Just trying to forget about it. Just doing something else really helps. Starting on homework or playing with Nora or eating or watching just random things on YouTube. Those are pretty effective things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there something that maybe you could tell yourself to when you're up there, and that so since it's, pretty sporadic, even though some days it might be the whole day, but just for that day, what kind of things can you tell yourself to show evidence of being a good enough dad?
She has a place to live. She's happy. She's learning every day. She's healthy. She hasn't gotten into any fights with anybody. I don't know.
Sounds like you're doing a great job.
Yeah, usually I think so.
Yeah. I think, sometimes, your situation is not the ideal for you right now, but I think for you and her to have those experiences together.
Yeah, that's the best part, is to just be able to experience everything with her. Just watch her learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
It makes everything worth it.
Mm-hmm. So worst case scenario, you're going to live back in, not the most ideal place. Is it an option to stay where you're staying now?
I would assume it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't want to push anything.
Right. Yeah. Because I imagine that's yet another stressor, is that, you've already gotten in, I'll just say the word deeper than you wanted to, because I know when we've talked before is that you obviously are gracious that they're allowing you to do that, and then that you didn't want to be any further in their debt with, whatever, and then the computer breaks, and then you've already kind of gone somewhere that you didn't really want to go in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So now the credit score, is going to start impacting everything. So, well, it wouldn't be ideal, but it would be an option.
Yes.
Okay. What about any other options? I think we kind of ran through those about, the buggy apartment and not being able to provide for Nora.
No, I think those are probably the only options at this point, unless it doesn't affect the score, or if I get If we can still get an apartment, if it's paid off, then that would be the best situation.
Mm-hmm.
I guess finding out that would be just the best thing to do at this point. Just to know what to be prepared for instead of when it comes time finding out then. So just find out now and prepare for that instead of
Mm-hmm.
finding out in the future.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that, if you started to find that stuff out now, then maybe it could ease your mind a little bit, because you wouldn't have all those unknowns out there.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine so. So maybe what would be effective is if we made an action plan.
Another one?
Another action plan, yes. But hopefully this one will be more effective.
Okay.
Okay. So do you have a piece of paper?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I want you to draw kind of a table and then divide it into 5 columns.
Like even columns, does it matter?
It doesn't matter because then you're going to divide those columns in half horizontally. So you'll have 5 on top and 5 on the bottom.
And then one line through the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So in the first column, label it actions to take.
Okay.
In the second column, label that time to begin.
Okay.
In the third column, possible problems.
Okay.
In the fourth column, strategies to overcome problems.
Okay.
And in the last column, progress.
Okay.
So, so we can work on this together today, but you'll have to complete the last column, the progress, on your own when you put the plan into action. So at the very top of the paper, write goal. So what's going to be our goal? What are we making a plan to do?
To, I guess,
I guess we have to identify our problem.
Okay.
Okay. So the problem is, what's the problem that we've been kind of talking about that is going into the unknown?
That's the money problem? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, but more specifically.
Not knowing future living situations?
Yes, or how the credit score is going to impact your future.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds way better than.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so in the first column, we identified that column as actions to take. So what are some things that you could do to start the problem-solving process?
Research.
Okay.
That's him. I guess, actually, and then call the debt collector. Okay.
Okay. So we need to research. So when can you begin doing that?
Right after this meeting or tomorrow, I guess.
Okay. So go ahead and jot that in there tomorrow.
Okay.
So so you're going to do the research, and we're gonna start making phone calls. So the middle column is possible problems. So what are some possible things that could come up with trying to problem solve or trying to get answers to our research?
Maybe there's a bunch of different answers. Maybe I can't find it. Is that?
Yeah, that could definitely be a possible problem.
And then if the research gives me the answer of that, it will make the problem worse, right?
For the possible problems,
Yeah.
the information you find out could make your situation worse.
Yeah, it says the information says that what I suspect is true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So any other possible problems that you can think of for now?
No.
Okay. So so if you're getting some different responses or you can't find what you're looking for, what are some ways to overcome those problems?
I guess ask around to people that I know
Okay.
instead of trying to do it on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
If it says what I suspect is true, prepare for the future, prepare for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So are you comfortable with the steps that we've identified so far?
Yeah.
Those are definitely things that you're willing to look into.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what if when you're doing your research that you find out what you think is true, and you have to start planning for the future? What does that look like for you?
Looking for cheap places to live that have good reviews. Maybe asking everybody their experiences with different landlords around town,
Mm-hmm.
and then also still making sure it's paid off before we need a place. and don't live anywhere that has bad reviews, I guess.
Yeah. So it sounds like that you really have a plan.
Yeah, I guess I do.
But it's just overwhelming to think of it all.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. In addition to getting through school, starting the practicum, raising a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it sounds like that you have some good supports too.
Yeah, I have really good supports within the family and within church, and so that's all good.
Mm-hmm. So you've transitioned well into the church. I know that you had said that was kind of one of your worries.
Yeah.
Earlier when we began.
Yeah, we've made friends. It's been easy.
Good. Good. So, well, it sounds like you're settling in. We've got this action plan. Action plans are also great for other problems that come up. Sometimes it's helpful to sort things out and have that visual to see what's going on. Can you think of any other things that you would use this action plan for other things going on?
I guess like school stuff. Like if I'm trying to plan school stuff out, kind of it would help to prepare like a semester's work, but I don't know what next semester will hold, so I guess when I start the practicum, I could use it to have the problem be starting in practicum, and then the action, like making sure I talk to everybody. So I guess that would be good. Or just starting something new, a new job or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all great examples of times that you could use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how you felt about what we talked about today.
Well, first I was real anxious because anytime I talk about it or think about it, it makes me anxious and angry at the same time. Like even when we were talking, I could feel my skin get hot. But doing this really helped out. Like especially when you said, "Oh, you do have a plan." Oh yeah, I do have a plan. I guess.
Yeah. Sometimes it helps just to be able to to it through, and especially when you're overwhelmed with everything else. That I do have a plan. My situation is not ideal at all, but I'm pretty resourceful, and I could probably figure this out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So did we get to talk about everything that you wanted to talk about today?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And then I heard you identify other times that you could use this action plan. So that's going to be your homework, is to follow up with the steps that we already talked about today.
Okay.
And then to fill in that last column with the progress.
Okay.
And then, any other time with all of these other things that you've got going on in your life, and then you've already identified other times that you could use this action plan. So, my recommendation for that would be to use that and, have your plan that you seem to already have on paper, so that can lessen that anxiety a little bit to say, yep, there it is.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Travis. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.